If you are able to see my PPT, just write here in the chat box. Yes, if you are able to see my PPT. Am I audible? Okay, thanks, Ganesh. Good. So now let's go and start. Okay, thanks for confirmation. Now we are going to start. Hello, everyone. Very good morning and welcome to the ABAP ritual where we are learning the VVI questions from ABAP or ABAP related technology like OPS ABAP, ABAP on HANA, OData, ALE docs, and a workflow. The reason why we started the ABAP ritual is for the purpose of self growth. Never ever ignore your potential. We have to keep our self esteem and self confidence up. We have to be competent in the marketplace and we have to add a lot of value in our project where we are working. Get mastery in interview questions and answer. Have a strong fundamentals. Immerse into the SAP backend. Help and contribution and health. Some information we have, let's have quickly revise it because the repetition is the key. Once it will go into the subconscious mind, it's going to add the value. Easy and frequently asked question, never ever ignore. Have regular practice of niche question. Use the social media services intelligently. Declutter the digital space. Uninstall the unnecessary application and turn off the unnecessary notification. Soft skill is very, very important than the technical skill. Helping and contributing to the society is the key for success, and health is again very important. Everything is possible with a good health only. So we'll have to keep our physical health and mental health on the optimum level, at the best level, and that is possible with the yoga, walking, gym, marathon, game, whatever you like. And for the mental health, pranayama, meditation, spiritual practices, association with the right people, and so on. So these are the things we'll have to keep into our mind. And now let's go and discuss what we have discussed yesterday, and then we'll go and see the today's one. So we have been looking into our couple of classes about the important T codes. What's the T code to register the service? What is how to test the service and how to troubleshoot if we get any error. We have also seen what are the important classes when gets generated when we create the project and generate the artifacts, right? What's the architecture of OData we understood, and we have seen there are how many ways in which we can generate the OData services, right? Then we have seen what is SADL, what the use of SADL. We have seen also that what are the possible different actions can be performed on an entity set, all right? So we have seen all these things. Also, we have seen that on top of which artifact we perform the CRUD or CRUD operation, right? We have seen that it is nothing but entity set. What's the function import? Very, very important question, all right? We have seen also in OData when you create the and activate the project, what are the classes, right? Again, the repeated question. This is again very important question. If you want to implement fetching logic for header and item, which method need to be opted, right? We have discussed this one and the answer is here. If you want to implement record creation logic for the header and item, which method to be opted? So create deep entity set, right? So one is the get expanded entity set. If you have to fetch the data from the header and item, then we are going for the get expanded entity set method. Very important question. And if you want to implement a record creation logic for header and item, which method to be opted? So create a deep entity set. All right, create a deep entity set. Now, We have also seen what are the HTTP methods. So these are the various HTTP methods, right? This is again a very, very important question, right? Again, very, very important question, this one. Okay. So get, post, put, patch, delete, merge, and head, right? And there was something on her case was supposed to do, and yesterday he told, right? Uh, that what's the difference between put and patch, right? What's the difference between put and patch, right? So we discussed yesterday what is the difference between put and patch. We also discussed what's the difference between patch and merge, right? So we understood the patch is nothing but this is the actual HTTP method, and this is supported by OData 2.0 onwards. Okay, this patch method is supported in OData 2.0 onwards. SAP NetWeaver Gateway version 2.0 SP05. Okay, or OData 2.0 version onwards, this patch method is supported. This merge method was initially introduced by Microsoft. Both is same. There is no difference. Only the difference how who has evolved. So merge was evolved by the Microsoft, right? And patch is the universal standard, and this we are supposed to use, not this merge, right? Because patch is the universal standard. Both is same. Both work is to both is used for the update purpose, right? Both is used for the update purpose. There was one more question. What's the difference between put and patch, right? What's the difference between put and patch? Very, very important question. We understood this one. This is also one VBA question we are having. What's the difference? From many people I have heard this particular question, so this is one of the important question. What is the difference between put and patch? So here put means something you are going to put, right? Something you are going to put. So when we are telling the word put means you are going to replace something completely and you are going to put there something, right? So something means what? Suppose here you want to replace this 2 RAM and 35, right? Completely you want to replace 2 RAM and 35. Then you are going to use the put method. Okay, then you are going to use the put method. If you want to, this put is used for the complete replacement. However, patch generally is used for the partial update. Okay, partial replacement. Put is for complete replacement, right? Put is for complete replacement. Complete replacement. So once again, I'm just explaining quickly and then we'll just go ahead. And patch is for the partial update. Okay, patch is for partial update. So here put is means complete replace. Something you are going to put means you are going to replace the existing things with the newer one. Patch means what? Patch means if something is already there, you are going to patch with that, right? Means you are not going to remove completely. Suppose if you have to patch your cloth, so your cloth will be there at some particular place. If something is tore out, we are just going to patch it, right? So something like that. You are not going to have the complete replacement, right? Patching means partial update. So here in this example, suppose you want to replace this 2 RAM and 35 with this 2 RAM and 40, you are going to use the put method and it will do like this. Okay, completely replace the record, right? It will completely replace the record. 2 RAM and 45, so it will something look like this. 2 RAM and 40, completely it will replace. Okay, now you will think, now you will say that suppose this RAM is uh, we have not given something over here at RAM. So what it will be, it will take the initial value as a default value. Okay, in the put method, if you are not going to provide, suppose if you are going to provide this ID value, ID key will be certainly important, then only it will identify where it has to go and update, right? So 2 is mandatory. Now this 40 you have given at the edge, right? Here you have given blank. You have not given anything, right? You have not given anything. So if you means it's just nothing you have given. Just you are supplying this 2 and 40. So it will take the initial value of the RAM character data type, right? So employee name will be of character data type. So it will just take the blank, right? So it will just remove the RAM, right, with the blank, means a complete replacement it will do, right? But if you are going to do the same thing with the patch, right, if you are going to do same thing with the patch, then what it will do, since you are supplying only 40 over here, it will just go and write the 40. That's it. Okay. RAM will be as it is because you are not supplying anything over here. RAM, it will just keep the 40 over here, and that's it. So that's the meaning of patch, means partial update. Put means complete replacement. Okay. Complete replacement. Your existing record will be completely overwritten, and patch means partial update. Okay, hope it's clear now. Okay, so just write here in the chat box if it is clear. Okay, so this is what we have written yesterday, the same thing, but I was not able to explain more effectively yesterday, right? So now I just, this is one important question over here, and now I believe you are able to understand. Thanks, Ganesh. Okay, now here we are having the important question for the today. For yesterday also we have discussed about this. What is the T code for cache cleanup, right? So IWFND slash cache cleanup we have seen, and we have also seen what are the different way of cleaning the cache, right? So one is the global. We do the global cleaning up using the two transactions. So in case of central hub scenario, right? In central hub scenario, you are going to have the gateway and backend separate. So for cleaning up the gateway, you are having this transaction IWFND slash cache underscore cleanup, right? And for cleaning up the backend, you are having this transaction IWBEP slash cache underscore cleanup, right? And this slash n is just for the new session, right? So the transaction is going to start from slash IWBEP slash cache underscore cleanup slash IWFND slash cache underscore cleanup, right? So this is for gateway cleanup and this is for the backend cleanup, right? So cache cleanup means, you know, it's why this is required, right? This also understood why this is required. Sometimes, you know, it will just fetch the data from the cache and it will just show you. So just in order to make sure that your service is working properly, we go for the cache cleanup option, right? If you have the embedded scenario, which transaction you are going to use? Only for the backend, right? IW, or in case of embedded scenario, in case of embedded scenario, you are going to use only, right? In case of embedded scenario, you are going to use this transaction only, IWBAP slash cache cleanup, IWBAP slash cache cleanup. You are going to, you know, clean up your backend, automatically gateway will be clean up, right? So in case of embedded, this is the transaction only we are supposed to use. So there are several ways. One, this is one way. Second way we have seen also, this is right. Just go to the service, go to the more, go to the metadata and clean up cache, and on both system, on hub system, on backend system. These are the option given over there. Now you will have to decide, right? You will have to decide. If you want to clean up on the both system, go for the both system. If you want to clean up only on the hub system, go for the hub system. And if you want to clean up only on the backend system, right, select this option, right? And if it is embedded, just clean up only on the backend system, it will clean everything, right? The third option what we are having, that you have a class method. This is the class IWFNDCL underscore, you know, util underscore money. This is the class we have. We can use this class IWFNDCL underscore sutil underscore money, and this is the method cleanup metadata cache. So this class method also we can use in order to clean up the cache, right? So maybe what you can do, that you can create one program You can call this method in that program, and if you want to, schedule that program in the background on the regular interval, right? You can do so, right? You can automate the things on the regular interval using this class method. So directly you will not be able to use the class method, right? You'll have to create one program and then you will be able to use that one. Or directly, if you want to use, you will have to go into this method. You will have to pass this parameter over there explicitly and you will have to run, right? But that is not the feasible way, right? Why to do this much? Simply we'll go for this transaction if you want to do manually. However, if you want to do automatically, if you want to automate the things, this method will be useful, right? So this method, right? We understood this one. This also we have seen yesterday, right? And now when we have to clean up the cache and when we need to clean up the cache, so we understood there are some certain context. We understood some certain aspect why we are supposed to clean up the cache, what is the problem occurred, right? So that is, and now let's discuss about the today's question. Okay. And at the end of the session, Jitendra will demonstrate if he is ready with the put and patch operation, how it behaves. If he would have, created the content, we will go for that. So let's quickly complete this one, and then we will go to the Jitendra and we will see his demonstration if he is ready. Okay. Now, one very important question you might have come across, many of you: how to do file or image handling in OData, right? How to do file or image handling in OData, right? How to do file or image handling in OData? Answer is, you'll simply have to tell using stream method. Simply this much you will have to tell. If you are going to tell this much, your interviewer is going to become more than happy. He will understand, yes, you know, right? How to do. So stream method. What is this stream method? So suppose if you want to create some PDF, suppose if you want to upload some PDF in backend, suppose if you want to upload some image, suppose if you want to upload some file. Upload file means new file, right? You will have to store some image, some PDF, some file in the backend, right? From the front end, from your web application or whatever, right? So for that purpose, in OData, you will have a standard method. Here you can see these are the standard method. Create a stream to create the new file, PDF or image, right? Get a stream to get the image, right? Get a stream. And if something you want to update a stream. So create a stream, get a stream and update a stream. And from which interface it belongs. All these three methods belongs from which interface? This is the interface slash IW BEP slash IF underscore MGW underscore application underscore services underscore runtime. You don't have to remember all these things, right? This lengthy things is not required. If we are just going to tell create a stream method, get a stream method and update a stream method, that is more than sufficient, right? Create a stream, get a stream and update a stream. What are the methods to create the create, update, create, update, and read the right, read the image or file or PDF, right? So this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, now here, what is concurrency control? What is concurrency control and how to handle concurrency control? Again, this is one important question, niche question. Okay, this is a niche question, but answer is very simple. Answer is very simple. Okay, so VVI question over here. what is concurrency control, right? What is concurrency control? So concurrency control, you know that in SAP ABAP you have the table, right? In SAP ABAP you have the table. So for example, this is our table, right? So at same time, if the two people is going to change the record, it is going to create the problem, right? It will create the problem. At the same time, if two people, let's suppose here Ram and Madhusudan. So both is trying to, you know, change the same record. In SAP ABAP backend technology, you are having the concept called lock object. So with the help of lock object, you are going to handle this scenario. At the same time, if the two people is going to change the same record, it will lead to inconsistency, right? It will lead to the data loss, right? It will lead to the data loss at the same time. So this is the problem. The same problem happens if suppose this is your UI5 application, right? This is your UI5 application. And in between you have the gateway, SAP gateway. This is your SAP gateway. And let's suppose this one is, this database update here, you are going to handle with the you know from the application server. So from the backend side you don't have to bother, right? From the backend side you don't have to bother. At the same time, two people will not be able to do so. This is the SAP standard mechanism. And some cases, like if you want to handle explicitly, you go for the lock object. So this we know very well as an ABAPer, right? If you don't know the lock concept, there is a video on the YouTube. I have created very nice video about the lock object in very much detail. It will demonstrate all the things, how the lock object and where it is supposed to use. You can go and watch out from there. I will share the link in the app ritual today. Okay. Now here, what's the problem going to have? Let's suppose you have the list of purchase order at UI5 application over here. List of purchase order you are having, right? You have the list of purchase order. So you are going to have the list of purchase order maybe like this. So this is not a table, this is a list of purchase order. Okay. This is list of purchase order. Here you are able to see. Now this person Ram, okay, is calling the PO service in order to display the PO. And Madhusudan has also opened his front end on his computer. Okay. And what he is trying to do that he's also trying to modify the same purchase order. Means what I'm trying to tell you over here. Let me arrange a little better. Okay. Just a second. So here the RAM is there. I'm going to put this RAM over here. RAM is here, and RAM is trying to, let's suppose, change this purchase order. Okay. And again, the same on the another on the another system, right? On the another system, here we have the Madhusudan. Okay. Here we have the Madhusudan. So now Madhusudan is also trying to do the same, here, let's suppose the purchase order 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a purchase order. And this purchase order is having some quantity, let's suppose 300 kg or something like that. This is, and the name of the material, let's suppose some sugar. Okay. So here, this is the quantity, and here you will have the material. Now the same purchase order, this RAM will be also able to see, because the same service they are, using in order to display the purchase order, right? And they are working in the same organization. So obviously it will display same list of purchase order to both of them, correct? So here also 300, and here also it will display the sugar. And now now ram is ram is all ram is trying to change this description from sugar to, sweet sugar or something like that, right? Something like that. Or maybe he's trying to change this quantity from 300 to 400, something like that, At the same time, this Madhusudan is also trying to change the same record 1234 purchase order, let's suppose with some quantity or some material over here, or material description, right? Anything he's also trying to change. So the request will not go to the backend at the same time, right? So if it is at the backend, SAP will be able to handle with the help of their internal mechanism or with the help of lock object we have implemented, right? But here, what you are doing, SAP will not know. At front end, what you are doing, SAP will not know, right? Here, Ram, what he is doing, or similarly, so many person what are doing at the same time, SAP will not able to do, right? So he will not be able to apply the lock object or whatever, right? Now, Ram tried to, save, clicked on the save button on the purchase order. After doing the edit, he clicked on the save changes, right? He clicked on the save changes. Ram changes was saved, but at the same time, madhusudan madhusudan changes was as it was earlier, right? He was not able to that, someone has changed the sweet sugar, right? So Madhu is under the assumption that the changes is not made, and he is also going to change something like sweet sugar over there, right? So this is a kind of repeated work, or maybe Madhusudan could not understand that some changes has been made by the Ram, and he is just going to do some changes, right? So in this case, what will happen? When the Madhusudan is going to change his save his changes, the changes of Ram will be lost, right? Because he will not realize that Ram has done some changes, because at the same time they are doing. So there should be some mechanism through which Madhusudan, when he will try to save the changes, Madhusudan will come to know that someone has done already some changes, and he is not supposed to do these changes. He is supposed to fetch the latest data, and then he is supposed to do some changes, right? This is what should be done by the, this is what should be, this is what expected by the system to be done, right? Otherwise, otherwise there will be inconsistency, there will be data loss, right? So in order to handle that one, there is a concept of concurrency control. Concurrency means if the two events is going to happen at the same time, right? That is the meaning of concurrency. What is the meaning of concurrency? Concurrency means if the two events are going to take place at the same time, that is the meaning of concurrency, right? So how to handle that one? That is going to be handled with the help of e tag. Okay, e tag, very very important interview question. Okay, e tag, entity tag. What's the full form of e tag? Entity tag. Entity tag. How it works? So this is, let us suppose, initially in your database, in your EKQO table or EKPO table, whatever. Okay, here you are having, let's suppose, the detail of purchase order only, detail of purchase order item. So let's suppose this is your EKPO table, right? EKPO table is this one. EKPO. Now in this EKPO table, what was your existing record? This was your existing record 1, 2, 3, 4, 300 and sugar in the your EKPO. Now in order to handle the concurrency control, right? In order to handle the concurrency control, what we have the mechanism of the E tag, and now we are learning how E tag is going to work, right? So what happens when the RAM is requesting the data from EKPO to change, you know, you will have to write some piece of code in the backend in order to implement this entity code, entity tag. It will not happen automatically, right? So just I'm going to teach you the concept over here, how to implement that. You will have to explore yourself, okay? Or just go through some YouTube video, or just go through the SAPR document. Very nicely they have written over there, okay? So you can just go and explore here. Just try to understand in a summarized way from interview point of view, okay? So here, in a combination of these particular fields, you are going to generate a hashtag, okay? So this hashtag is going to have a unique hashtag with respect to the combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 300 and sugar, right? So let's suppose it is going to, A, B, C, D, something like the hashtag is generating A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. This is the hashtag generated by the system for combination of this record. So when the RAM is requesting the data, this one, the hashtag has the internally system is taking care of this record with this hashtag. So what it will be? The hashtag is here. Hashtag is here and hashtag is here also, right? Because Madhusudan is also requesting the record and Ram is also requesting the record. When now the RAM is going to save the changes, this sugar with the sweet sugar, right? So here now it will become what? Sweet sugar, right? So now the hashtag for this sweet sugar is going to be changed. So maybe it will become uh, ABCD 1 2 3 4, and let's suppose this is become sweet. ABCD 1 2 3 and sweet, let's suppose. Now the hashtag has been changed, right? So now try to understand here. Now try to understand over here what it is going to have. When the RAM is going to save the changes, system will compare the RAM hashtag with the existing hashtag of this record, and system will identify this hashtag and this hashtag is matched, right? If this hashtag and this hashtag is matched, then it will save the changes over here, right? And once the changes are saved, then here your hashtag is going to be changed, right? So now it is changed because that content is changed over here. So based on the content, your the entity tag, your hashtag is going to be determined, right? So your entity tag has been changed over here now. So your entity tag is nothing but a hashtag, okay? So now the Madhusudan is trying to save his changes. So he has done some change in the quantity, let's suppose 400, okay? And he's trying to change the data. Now the hashtag is ABCD123. So now when we will try to change the data, the hashtag ABCD123 will try to match with this hashtag, and system will realize there is something inconsistent with the Madhusudan record. Madhusudan is not trying to, save the latest record. He is not trying to, change the latest record. And then Madhusudan will get a pop-up, right? That, boss, you are not doing the change in the latest record. Do the changes in the latest record. When you are doing the change, meanwhile somebody has done the changes. So have the latest data and do the changes, right? So he will click on the OK button, and the data is going to be retrieved once again with the latest hashtag, right? With this for this Madhusudan. Now the data is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 300 and sweet sugar and sweet sugar. Okay. Now Madhusudan can do the changes. Okay. He can do the changes. Madhusudan can do the changes. Now he did the changes and he has written the 400 over here. Okay. And he clicked on the save button. So when he click on the save button, now this hashtag is going to match with this, and now his record is going to be saved properly. So you can see that there is no data inconsistency. Madhusudan is also now aware and confident that he has done the changes in the latest data, right? So there is no confusion, there is no inconsistency, there is a confidence, right, that he has done the correct changes, and all the people from the client side, from the user side, from the business side, now they will be able to manage the data without inconsistency. So that's how the e tag works. So this is the concept behind the e tag. Just write here in the chat box if you are clear with the concept of e tag, right? Just write here in the chat box if you understood the concept of this e tag. Okay, so this is the e tag. There is a class which is responsible for creating the e tag. That means